Good day, everyone. It's Ryan Graves with Soul Trek. I guess this would be a part of Nowhere Near Death. I found some old video that I hadn't put together yet out at Perkins Park in Parkville. Right around the time I had some serious stuff going on with my end-stage liver disease. So I'm going to go ahead and put those together, get those videos out. Got a little bit of a scare going on right now. I've got to go for MRIs in the morning, and then I have to go get a couple of surgeries on Monday to see if I've got pancreatic cancer now. So I guess we'll see, but I figured it was probably a good time to put these together and get them out. So without further ado, here you go. Okay, we're at the top of the hill. Sorry about that. I know it was just a second for you, but I almost couldn't talk there. So I forgot about that great big hill you have to come up to get up here. So this is this top plateau kind of area. And there's like a circular trail that goes around. And then there's a bunch of offshoots that just kind of go back into the woods. Some pretty cool rock formations and things back there, but today I won't be on camera. I just want to kind of, at least for now anyway, keep that to when we're looking at progress and I'm doing weight, which I know I said I wasn't going to do until Wednesday, but I can do it again Wednesday. I've lost another 3 pounds, which is all body, or all retaining fluids. It's called ascites. So to get back to what I was speaking about before, first of all, again, I want to thank everybody for hanging out and listening to me today, and any other day that you're available to listen. Again, like I said, I'm getting everything put together, so it'll become clearer, I'm sure, as it's so much of it has already become clear, but it's also I'm about as busy as I can kind of handle right now. So, but I'm enjoying it very, very much so. So, pancreatitis is how it started, or how I first started to notice the symptoms. Like I said, it's extremely painful. Usually lasts somewhere 2 to 3 days, the worst part of it. And, and it could last 4 or 5, depending. Best bet's to go to the hospital, immediately start to get fluids, and then they should give you something for pain, and you don't eat or drink anything for 2 or 3 days, and kind of go from there. It's about managing pain and staying hydrated. And I was told that if I continued to drink, that there was a very good chance that not only would the alcohol continue to have a deteriorating effect, obviously, on my liver, but that I ran a very high risk of the pancreatitis actually damaging my liver at an even faster rate, which is what it seems happened. So I had a series of unfortunate incidents, which may or may not get to later on. I'm sure it's some episode. A lot of things will come into play, but now's not the time. So I moved to Texas. I was very healthy. Off the wagon, on the wagon, then COVID. And so I had ramped myself back up into getting sick on a fairly regular basis. Now, 2 things can happen. Yes, alcohol can cause it, but once you hit a certain point, it doesn't have to be that. You don't have to be drinking. Yes, it's going to definitely speed the process up, but you don't necessarily have to be drinking in order to cause pancreatitis attack that in turn will cause your liver enzymes to go through the ceiling. And that's one of the reasons why, if you do catch a glimpse of me today, I don't have a shirt on again. It's not because I think I I look really good at 130 pounds and being the wrong color. But sunlight, actually the B12, vitamin D, and the UV rates, the natural your UV rays, ultraviolet lights, actually help dissipate the bilirubin. And the bilirubin is what, in conjunction with ammonia, causes the hepatic encephalopathy. And so the sooner you can get that down, the better. And this is the quickest way that I found, is to expose as much of myself to the sun as I can. So that's what I'm doing, running around in the woods, trying to get some sun. I mean, now I'm back here in the shade. However, I digress. We progressed forward, and I had a series of unfortunate events, and I ended up having to move out of my apartment in Texas and moved back up to Kansas City. And the main objective was to get back to somewhere, because I was in a small town in Texas where I had a better shot at getting a good job, things like that, and figuring out what I'm doing with my kids, which I'll get to that too. So I came back up here, and within approximately 4 to 6 weeks, I started getting sick again. Only it was really regular, so I started going to the hospital the first couple of times. Pancreatitis. Well, I didn't know any better at the time, so I'd gone to North Kansas City Hospital, and I'd gone to St. Luke's North, and I'd been to both of those places several different times before they said, your liver looks like it's in really, really bad shape. So you need to go to Blue Spring, or to St. Luke's South, and that's the only place, and they've got an extremely good hepatic biliary team, liver team. So I went to St. Luke's South right away and started getting tested, and the nurse practitioner came in. Her name is Mary, and Dr. Alba is my head doctor. She's one of my heroes. So they came in and talked to me, and she said, you are on the lesser side of survival. We just want you to know that, where you stand. Are you okay hearing this? And I thought, well, they're wrong. Turns out I was correct, but I couldn't quite see how I knew it. I didn't see things quite as clearly as I needed to yet. So, sorry about that. Hopefully, just kind of walking around here is not too boring. But so she came in, she sat down, and she said, you've got about a 30% chance or so of living the next few months. And I said, okay. Oop, this ought to be pretty hairy. And I said, okay. And she basically kind of said, is that it? And I said, yeah. So I'm not real sure what else to say. And this time I was just by myself with her. And just so you know, the symptoms, the wonderful, beautiful symptoms of all these things going wrong. I developed gallstones, which just served to irritate the whole situation. Obviously, it's extremely painful. Jaundice, your body just melts away. You obviously can't eat. You're not digesting things the way you're supposed to. You're not getting nutrients, so you start to get sores all over your skin, including the top of your head, which causes clumps of hair to come out. Vision gets blurred. Encephalopathy takes over, and just kind of, I'm not really sure what I would call it. You're not dizzy. You know where you're at for the most part. You just can't retrieve things, especially short-term things, for me anyway. because I think everybody's different with these things. But so that was my first experiences with it. Well, what I didn't know, I can remember specific things like that once I go back and look at them, but I can't tell you when it happened very well at all. So basically what I knew was I started spending the majority of my time in hospitals, and at the time I left this out, so please do forgive me if I jump around. I promise I tried to write topics down today. So I stayed in contact with my job, and I'm not going to mention who it was with, but I was a business development director. So it was a very good job, and it was with a company I was really proud of starting to work with, and they kept telling me everything was okay. Well, I went through this whole back and forth thing and didn't touch a drop of alcohol, which you're going to say, oh no, Ryan, did you seriously go back to it? Yes, but very lightly, and paid the price. And that was right around Christmas. I was having a very rough time, and I didn't really talk to anybody about any of this because, well, first I've got 9 sisters. I've got a mom who's very concerned, and I'm very close to. Anyway, it just simply was too much to try to keep up with everybody. So anybody who I did not speak with that tried to call or send texts, I got those things. A lot of times my hands were shaking so bad that texting, I know I could just dictate it, but I would try to text something, and I would do it 7 or 8 times, and my hands were shaking so bad I couldn't hit the letters, so I would give up. And I just thought, well, I'll touch base with everybody at once. I use this term because I don't know how else to say it. I'll just get a hold of everybody when I get back, because that's truly how it felt, is that I had left. And so I essentially was gone for all intents and purposes, timeline wise, what was actually really going on. But they brought my family in, and they were told the same thing, other than now this percentage had swung a little bit in my favor. And now it looked like, I might make it through. I may not even have to have a transplant. But I did what I was supposed to do. I joined an AA meeting that I signed the log in, and I did certain things and to get on the list. But so I came out in October the first time. I mean, that's after being in the hospital for most of the time. I came out in October, and basically was looking around, and it was right before Christmas, and I came out like a child. I kept driving past my old house. I hung around malls and just did things that are pretty out of the ordinary for me. I mean, I could function well, and I know that's probably some people's concern, or a lot of people's concern, is, you were driving around, were you okay? As far as I knew, I was. I mean, nothing happened, and I didn't feel out of control driving. I just couldn't put things together. And it was shocking that I had been gone for June, July, August, September, October. And actually it was November when I came out. It was about the second week of November. Was the last time I was in the hospital for a little while. Well, so October comes up, and the very end hits, or the middle of October hit, and I come out. Actually, so it was October. I did end up in the hospital one more time after that time. Well, I went and looked at a house, and I had let them know, and I had gotten a bunch of releases from the doctors and things, and they just kept looking at me going, are you sure you want to try to do this? I said, yeah, I've got to go back to work. Well, I went and looked at this house, then I got home, and literally not even a minute later, I received an email from basically one of my bosses saying that they were discontinuing my position. I no longer had a job, therefore I no longer had insurance. So I tried to tough it out for a couple months. So December, October, November. Oh, I'm sorry, December, January, February. So yeah, so for about 2 months, 2.5 months, I tried to tough it out. Luckily I didn't get really sick. I mean, I would have ended up in the ER, but yeah, so, but I was right on the edge the whole time. I felt like crap all the time. And so finally, and I had been dealing with the government since the first December that I was in the hospital. So, and to try to get disability, because I had tried. I tried to go back to work 4 or 5 times, and I just couldn't. And I couldn't even make it through a day. So, I kind of put that to bed for a minute, stopped trying to pressure myself. Meanwhile, I'm still going through all these symptoms, but it's not terrible all the time. Like I said, I've had, many, many rough moments, a couple where, I don't know, I think maybe that's something I'll get into later, and that's, the name of this podcast is going to be Nowhere Near Death, because I would basically, yes, well, I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but that's why, is because there were moments, there were 2, well, and that last time that I was in, when I actually felt decent for a little while, something changed, and I've got all the graphs and everything else, but all of my detrimental, enzymes and all of the bad things that your body makes when it's not doing well, all evened out at once, and at the same time, the same day, everything started moving in the direction that I was supposed to. And I'm going to leave this at that right now. I feel like this is plenty long enough for today. I'll write down where I'm at. I promise I don't have a lot more of this, but I figured I would get through it. Especially if you're going through anything like this, I can tell you what most likely to expect. I will say that it's really hard to tell, because when you have liver disease, it affects everything. It's not just what you think. I mean, it everything, from not being able to sleep, to being confused, to itching all over, to the ascites swelling up your whole body, to vomiting, to GI bleeds, and just all kinds of things. So, but I say that to say that it's different for everybody. So, but again, hopefully we'll get into more of this stuff later. I'm not going to sit here and dwell on all of the bad things that happened, but I just kind of wanted to start to lead people in the direction that I'm hoping to at least start this out at. So again, thanks for being here. I will be back in just a minute. I'm going to sit down again. I'm going to be back in just a minute, and I'm going to let you know I am starting a GoFundMe account. I've actually started it. I'm getting it populated, and it's going to go up tonight as well. So it'll be up, on June 6th, 2023. And I will send a Facebook link out, and I'll send a Facebook link out to the podcast. If anybody knows, I know I need to set up an email too. That's not my personal email to go to, but for family and close friends, the phone lines are open, whatever, and I'll try to get to everybody, because I know a lot of people have tried to get a hold of me, and I just couldn't deal. So, all right, I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching, and be sure you hit like and subscribe. TheSoulTrek.com is the website. I will keep everybody posted on what's going on. I feel okay. We'll just have to see what happens, and bless the Lord and praise God. Have a good night.